Hi, I'm Keely from Retirement Dreams to Reality, and today it's not going to be a walk and talk, it's going to be a sit and talk, because I'm on the beach in Brighton and it's 20 plus degrees, so it's so lovely. I just thought I would do a sit and talk video about travel in retirement and lots of things that might impact on it that you might not have thought about. So obviously, if anybody's watched any of our other videos, you'll know that for me, travel in retirement is a huge part of what I want to do. Part of the reason I'm here today is because Bruce had to come to Brighton on a business trip, and I've never been to Brighton, so I absolutely had to come along. I love trying out new places, which is what travel and retirement's about. So yeah, one of the biggest restrictions that we're going to have in retirement is still having Chase. So when we were part of the EU, you could have an EU pet passport, which made it so much easier. But now they have to have a health certificate to travel. And you have to, that's a little bit harder to do. It costs a bit more. I can do a whole video on that when we take Chase if people are interested, but obviously it's very niche to people who've got dogs. But that will impact, one, because of the restrictions, the rabies jab, they've got to have a chip, they've got to have worming. There's lots of restrictions, like you have to go and have a tablet 48 hours before you come back into the country. We're still planning to travel with Chase. We're still planning to travel massively with Chase. Portugal, we're hoping, is going to be a big one for us. But it is going to put a huge restriction on it. It just will. It's that simple. And it got me thinking about other restrictions. Even if you forget his passport, you've got to find places that are dog friendly. Now, it's taken me 30 minutes to walk to this beach in Brighton, because up until the 30th of April, dogs are allowed on all of the beaches. From the 1st of May, dogs are only allowed on certain areas, and it's the 1st of May today when I'm filming. So I had to be really careful which beach we came on, because I don't want a £100+ fine. Hotels, we had to find the right hotel. So obviously travelling with pets can be quite troublesome, but the video is not just about travelling with pets, it's about all of the restrictions when travelling. I'm just going to quickly show you where I'm sat now near the pier. So that is Brighton Pier in the distance. I was told the first bit of dog-friendly beach was about a quarter of a mile from the pier. So that's where we are. So what other restrictions are there? Well, things like how long you can leave your home empty for. If you leave your home for more than 30 to 60 days empty, then you need unoccupied home insurance. So that's an additional thing you've got to think about. We have travel insurance with our bank. If you travel for more than 30 days in one go, then you have to buy different travel insurance. So that's another thing that we've got to think about. So two different types of insurances that when you first think, oh, I'm going to go on holiday for 3 months at a time, you probably don't even think about. And I know we didn't. And then there's the standard restrictions since we left the EU that people talk about quite a lot. So in order to travel anywhere in what is called the Schengen zone, you can only travel for up to 90 days in a 180-day period. Now, I'm just going to have to move because the sea, any second now, is going to be lapping at my feet. I've moved away from the sea a little bit because it was very loud, and it's moving so fast that we just kept having to move. So we're quite a distance from the sea now. So beautiful this morning. It's just stunning, absolutely stunning. There's something so calming about the sea. So I was just talking about the Schengen zone and the EU, and we'll make sure that we put a map up about that. But it's not just the EU and Europe that have huge restrictions on travel. So obviously we go to America quite a lot, but currently we travel under the visa ESTA waiver, which is basically, it costs about £15 for 2 years, and you can go for, same as the Schengen zone, you can go to America for 90 days in every 180 days. You basically have to be at home longer than you are going to be in America. Now, I haven't looked at this in great detail because I think actually rather than at home, you have to be out of America longer than you are in America for. So you have to be out of America for 91 days if you're going to do 90 days in America. So that for us might mean that we're at Portugal rather than in cold, wintry UK. But we don't know yet. We've got to play around with these 90 days. And obviously, the first couple of years of retirement when we don't have the dog, we desperately want to go to Australia. And that'll be a full 3 months if we can manage that. And once again, that's very, very similar. I don't know, I can't remember what the name of their visa is, but you have to be, I think it's 3 months again, 3 months in, 3 months out. So as much as when you're thinking about lots of travel in retirement, you might be like me and think, well, I don't actually want to relocate. I don't want to buy a house in Spain and go and live in Spain full time. I just want to be able to go when I want to go. But you're actually not going to be able to go when you want to go if it doesn't meet the restrictions. So there are lots of travel restrictions imposed by the countries that you will be going to. So you've got your restrictions imposed at home in terms of insurance, medical insurance, home insurance. You've got your restrictions imposed by the countries that you're going to be visiting. But another one that probably restricts more people than you might think is the actual cost, the cost of travel. Because if you are having to go to lots of different places because you can only stay in each place 3 months, you've got to factor in the journeys, the plane journeys, the car journeys to these places. So recently, I looked at going to see Lewis. I go and see my son in Dallas twice a year usually, and I've never paid much more than £1,000. In fact, for the past few years we've had reward seats. And I had the scare of my life when I couldn't find a flight for less than £1,400. It's gone back again a little bit now. It seems a little bit better now. But at one point, when I was searching, I couldn't find anything for less than £1,400. Well, that's a massive increase. And if you're having to, and my friend who goes to Australia quite a lot said she wasn't finding any flights for less than 2,000 because she likes to fly with Emirates, and she was only paying 1,000, 1,500. So they've definitely increased in price, and everything, as we know with inflation, is increasing in price. So that could impact on people's travel quite a lot. I've got a wandering dog. Come here. Come on. Come on. He doesn't like the stones. Yeah, So obviously, hopefully they are a few things that you've already thought of, or maybe you hadn't thought of them, and now you might have to factor those costs in, think about the unoccupied home insurance, think about things like that. And then obviously if you've got a pet, there are some brilliant sites on Facebook that are about travelling with pets, and there's some brilliant Schengen calculators, so I'll put those on. And I'll put a little bit of information as well about unoccupied home insurance if that's of interest to anyone. So that's Keighley on the beach in Brighton. Thank you for being here with me.